Greetings, adventurers. It's Derperp here. Today, I just wanted to talk to y'all about how really pretty cheap deck reignited my love for Magic the Gathering, which y'all wouldn't know, but it is my main card game and my main hobby outside of Warhammer. Y'all wouldn't know that because this channel's mostly been based around YouTube, gaming stuff, just video games, and a little bit of Flesh and Blood at some points. Even consider One Piece, that's also a game. But my whole life, Magic's been my main game. Um, just these past couple of years, I wasn't enjoying it as much, and I couldn't really figure out what it was about it. In my area, what we do is, well, people used to at least, turtle up for a while, build their boards, and just whoever did their thing the soonest just kind of won. And there was very little interaction. People just kind of did their thing to themselves, and just hope they could do it sooner than the other or the other person bricked. And to me, I guess that just wasn't very exciting. That between and that's not being as interesting at set and not really Magic the Gathering that I knew. Having started playing back in Return to Ravnica and Gatecrash and such. So there was just something that was missing for me, I guess. And trying to figure out what that might have been. And before deciding to get rid of my collection, which thankfully I didn't do, but it was something on my mind, I decided to go online, find a deck I could build for like, or as a commander I could get a hold of cheap, and that fit the game plan that I was going for. And I realized Voltron would be something fun, and then, well, I ended up going with Light Paws, Emperor's Void. Um, how this reignited my love for Magic's kind of crazy, but I'll kind of show you the list and we'll talk about that. Alrighty, y'all. So here is our deck list, broken down into categories of cards, such as like removal, recursion, pumps, protection. Probably already said that. Good cards, ramp, and our land base. I'm gonna knock this out real quickly. Our land base is 34 cards, one of which is a Rogue's Passage. That way we can make Light Paws unblockable. But with this deck, what kind of inspired me to do it really was after seeing like, hey, that's a deck I could make on mine. Well, and it's Voltron. It can kind of go with any auras. The problem was I didn't want to order a 20-cent card just to make the deck. Spend like $3 on shipping through TV Player back, and just for like a 20-cent card, it just didn't make sense to me. Well, lucky for me, went into my LGS. They had this copy in the whatchamacallit, one of their binders, and but skadoosh skaday, I had a deck that day. Not everything here was picked up them, but about 90% of the cards you see here picked up through my LGS's bulk, going through their boxes of bulk and some of their like less than $1 rares, and just I'm putting together what I could. There are some cards that are from my personal collection, like you will see in this stack here, that I just had for ages, and it was a no-brainer to put in. But you do not have to put it in if you don't want to or want to build it even. This version sits like at 45 bucks. You take out some of the more expensive like cards that I just kind of had, and it's gonna be around 30. Kind of start off there though. Like here we have our just kind of good stuff of port, draw off of Pearlier if it targets a modified thing with an aura. Whenever we cast an aura spell, draw a card off of that. United Battlefront being a newer card, I did add pretty recently. But it's just once it's getting non-land, non-creature permanents and throw them on the battlefield, they're less being up to two of them. So we can get two of our enchant like auras on the board on Light Paws, and that can be pain. Just adding more, especially with like things like Mantle of the Ancients there, or All That Glitters, or something like that. That can give us a lot of stuff and a lot of value there. We also got Face Enchantress. When we cast an enchant spell, draw a card. More card draw. Always good. And then we got basically just do tutors in the form of Heliod's Pilgrim and Moonblessed Cleric. We don't really ever need to tutor that often, but they are options there if we want to find a specific, more expensive PC pin, because we don't have as many higher end, as far as mana curve goes, enchantments. Sigarda's Aid, it just gives our auras flash, and that's amazing. It gives us a lot of ways to just, we get to proc light possibility a lot more often by having that. So that's a really good one. Amazing card. Mantle of the Ancients, like I mentioned, and this is our recursion section. Mantle of the Ancients +1/+1 for each aura attached to the and equipment attached to the creature, and whenever it enters the battlefield, I get to return any number of target aura and or equipment cards from my graveyard to the battlefield attached to the target creature. Well, the creature that Mantle of the Ancients, which will always be Lightpod. Then we also got Tragic Poet. We sack it for something to hand. Sabine's Reclamation, and just more recursion. Sun Titan, ETB, and on attack, we get to 3 or less from grave to the battlefield, which most of our stuff is 3 or less. Ironclad Slayer, it's an equipment or an aura for a grave to hand. Kind of let's get some more bigger things that say like Titan can't hit or Nation. Oromancer, once again, basically just another copy of like Ironclad Slayer, except it can't hit equipment. And One Last Job. It's a modal spell, but we also get to target aura, equipment, graveyard to the battlefield attached to it. Granted, that makes it cost 4, but when you're playing on a budget, you can't always expect things to the CMC of things to be low. Some cards are not so good because they're expensive. So that's just what we deal with. Nahiri's Binding, and this is our removal side of things. Our removal is mostly also enchantment based, so we rock off of Light Pause and then still get our triggers. Nahiri's Binding, it is, sorry about the focus, by the way. Enchanted creature can't attack, block, or activate. Its activated abilities can't be activated. Great. Just, it's another form of interaction that our opponents need to worry about, especially with like Sigarda's Aid on the board. We are playing a couple board wipes in Austere Command. Another piece of kind of removal is Cooped Up. It can't attack or block, and for 2 and a white, we exile Enchanted Creature. Fumigate, that's our other board wipe. Detainment spell, for 1, it's the biggest part of Nahiri's Binding. And then for 2, we can attach it to another target creature. So another threat comes out, we can just slam it on there, and we're good to go. Arrest. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Once again, things like that. Not as good as maybe destroying a creature, but in some cases it may be better, so that they can't recur something and get its ETB again, or something. Different things. Faith Unbroken, it's basically like a Banishing Light, but on an aura that gives our thing +2/+2. And then Sheltered by Ghost. This is also, once again, basically Faith Unbroken, but a lot better. Gives us Ward 2, lifelink, and +1. So that one's also really good. And that's our removal. It's simple. I think it's plenty good. I don't play things like, Path of Exile, Path to Exile, and Source of Plowshares, because you see those in every deck, and they don't really synergize with this deck in any way. Starnheim Courser, this is our ramp side of things. Starnheim Courser, artifact enchantment spells you cost 1 less to cast. Envoy, Transcendent Envoy, make our auras 1 less. Danitha Capetian Paragon, auras and equipment cost 1 less. So you have a theme here. Our Defiler of Faith, this turns all of our white pips in the deck into Phyrexian mana, so we can pay 2 life instead of 1. Now, granted, it only works for white permanents, but that is perfectly fine. Then whenever we cast a white permanent, create a 1/1 soldier. So we get some little dudes out there. And then we have Soul Ring. I don't actually include Soul Ring in all of my decks, but This deck, it's kind of iffy. It can be kind of iffy on. I wasn't playing it originally, but the deck's already like such a high tier threat at when it hits the table that because if you don't deal with it, it's going to kill the table or at least one person who probably the biggest other threat. And Soul Ring just kind of tends to put a target on your back when you cast it anyway. So I didn't see an issue putting it in here. But in some of my other decks, I don't really like to include it because it makes. And here's our protection. It's a pretty beefy stack, so we want Light Paws to stay on the board for as long as possible. So with that, we have Selfless Savior. Sack it, Indestructible. Blessed Breath, our creature, protection from color of choice. Benevolent Blessing, also protection from color of choice. And then our stuff doesn't fall off with it. Bodyguard, protection from color of choice if we sack it. Guildsworn Ward, protection from multicolor. Pentarch Ward, protection from color of choice. Draw card. Spectra Ward, protection from all colors, and +2/+2. And it doesn't make our stuff fall off. Great. Karametra's Blessing, instant speed, so, you know, not as great as maybe Slash on Enchantment, but +2/+2. And then if it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So we can get around some of our things like, you know, some board wipes outside of Farewell and things like Path to Exile. Path of Exile. I keep saying Path to Exile because I'm playing that a lot. Umbra Mystic, Totem Armor. So we have so many auras. We're going to be able to protect Light Paws from some instances of destruction pretty frequently. One of the two best cards in this deck, I'd say, that make Light Paws such a dangerous threat. Most colors that aren't white. Actually, let me phrase it, all colors that aren't white. Enchanted creature gains protection from black and protection from red, and that's Mask of Law and Grace. For one, amazing. We have Indestructibility for, you guessed it, Indestructible. Timely Ward. Guess what? Indestructible and Flash if it targets Light Paws. Shard Mage's Rescue, Flash and Hexproof for that turn that we cast it, and then +1/+1 the rest of the time. The other, you know, Haymaker protection piece is Field of Duty and Reason, Enchanted Creature protection from blue. Another amazing. We're searching that off of Law and Grace. And Apostle's Blessing. This is a card I used to play a lot in Modern with my Modern Infect deck. And then it's Phyrexian White and 1. Artifact or creature control gains protection from artifacts or from the color of your choice until end of turn. So I think that's a great little piece there. We can, you know, give protection for on turn 1. I mean, not turn 1, but the like if we have mana up off of, say, we had a Soul Ring or something and land, we can protect Light Paws the turn she comes out even, and get some shenanigans. You know, we can just protect Light Paws. That's the important. Having to think and it's late, it's just not working. Next is probably one of the other, probably the biggest, you know, importance to the deck is our actual pumps and how we're going to kill things and make our Megazord, our Voltron, you know, whatever you want to call it. It is Voltron because that's the archetype. But here we go. On Sarah's Wing, Vigilance Flying, and Lifelink, and +1/+1. Sage's Reverie is draw and pump. Holy Mantle, protection from creatures and pump. Mortal Obstinacy, +1/+1, and it's enchantment removal if Light Paws deals damage. Armored Ascension, it's pump based on the amount of planes we have and gives flying, so really amazing. Glaring Aegis, it can tap down a blocker when it comes out, and it's a little bit of pump. Sorry, my ferrets had gotten out of their cage, but anyway, Saving Grace, Flash, it lets us throw it onto a creature we control and redirect the damage. If that we would take or permanents we take would have, we could throw it like say on a 1/1 soldier that one of our other things makes, or on our Indestructible Light Paws when that happens, or if she has protection from a color, protect that from that damage. Dealt damage from all that glitters, pump, and yeah, that's crazy amounts of pump because of the amount of enchantments we're going to have. Solid footing, just a really easy, one drop to flash in for some. We can get protection, we can find something, a lot of that, and we can assign damage based on toughness if we have vigilance. Now we have Angelic Destiny, +4/+4, massive pump, and first strike, and flying. And the recursion on it's alright. Nothing major. I mean, it's worth having. Sorry that I'm off to the side there. Sentinel's Eye. +1/+1 in vigilance, and a little bit of recursion for it. All two other brave. Dub. Well, it kind of can help give us the dub. +2/+2 in first strike. Ethereal Armor, all that glitters basically, but plus first strike, and that's awesome. And it's cheaper. Daybreak Coronet. It has to go on a creature with another aura, but enchanted creature gets a massive pump of +3/+3, and its first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. It's all just such a great card. Knight's Pledge, +2/+2. I'll take that for 2. And, who'd have thought? Lifelink, guess what? It gives lifelink. That's it. Angelic Gift. Draws a card and flying. Good enough for me. Squire's Devotion, +1/+1, and lifelink. Then it creates a 1/1. Honestly, kind of a bad card. But it's at that 3 cost, so it lets us go get some of our other things, like Timely Ward, or our Battle Mastery. Things like that. Dominable Will, flash, so A. Get triggers on a turn. And then Commanding Presence, +2/+2, and when it deals combat damage, get a 1/1. For its 4 mana, not great. I'll take it, though. I mean, we're getting bodies, and it lets us get some of our other things, like Indestructibility, or Angelic Destiny. That's great. Lunarch Mantle, +2/+2, and has, for 1, sack a permanent, gain flying. Oh, and then look at that. Battle Mastery for double strike. I should put in the newest Foundations card that lets you, it gives a creature double strike for 2 white and a colorless, but I just don't own it. I didn't really open any Foundations at all. It's just not a card I have. But this is my deck that I've been running recently, and I love it. It's changed the way my locals plays so much, as it's forced people to just make their decks do their thing faster and interact with you a lot more too. They don't expect to just sit there and turtle up and not do anything the whole game. They expect, hey, this person's probably going to stop me from doing my cool thing if I don't deal with them. And I like that. I like that because I don't want to sit there for 3 hours because everyone's too scared to be the bad guy and swing on you. I want to be able to play multiple games in a night. So Lightpaws has definitely accelerated the speed of games in my area. I mean, it's been really fun. Lightpaws does die very often, and it's a deck that you cannot play if you don't want to be targeted, and you'll get upset about it. You're gonna get targeted after a game or 2 of Lightpaws. Someone turn 4 or so, or on a crazy game, almost turn 3. People are just gonna not want to deal with it, and that's valid because the deck can get crazy. It can get out of hand. It goes unchecked. I mean, it's not the strongest thing in the world by any means, but it is just a monster. Don't interact with it. That's a good way to say it. It is an interaction check deck, really. If you have enough interaction, the deck doesn't do a whole lot. If you don't, well, the deck's gonna win the game. That's probably just how it's gonna go. It's a deck that you can build basically probably on any budget. So, like, just want something to kind of be a fun little deck that you go, I just, no thought, just bigger number, better person. Swing. Lightpaws is it. I mean, you can build it for like $30 if say you don't include something like Sigarda's Aid. That's like $15 of my $45 budget right there. Like I said, I love this deck. But anyway, that's just kind of how this deck changed the way I play Magic, and that it's became my favorite game once again. A game that I don't think I'm gonna fall out of love with quite a while now that it's made me look at it in a new way. But anyway, I'm losing my voice. It's been a long day, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. Farewell, adventurers, and bye bye.